Some might suggest that this is the curse of the Sussexes. That's right, when you think about it, you have a very good brand. It's doing incredibly well, and in fact, it's rated higher than it's ever rated before. But the boss of said brand decides to back, as we often say here, the wrong horse. And now, a couple of years down the line, they're really reaping everything that backing the wrong horse has given them. As ever, let me explain. Hi, good morning. How are you? Nice to see you today. Yes. And if you're just watching this first video, Happy New Year to you. So Happy New Year, one and all. Well, yes, I know. Yes, Happy New Year. Absolutely. And we'll get there, won't we? Another year, I know. And me looking as youthful as ever. Do you ever wake up and think, what happened? You know, you sort of think, wow, didn't look too bad last night. Wake up today, you look like death, don't you? You think, what's gone wrong? What do you mean, do you sleep in a coffin, Neil? Do you remember that story, by the way, about Michael Jackson, which turned out to be fake, didn't it? Sleeping in an oxygen tank. I always thought, well, I don't think that's a bad idea, actually. But then again, if you wanted to end up looking like Michael Jackson, possibly not a good idea, so we'll just leave that one there. Back as ever, though, to your royal story of the day. Cast your mind back, you know, because after the Oprah Winfrey interview, remember that breakfast TV host that was unanimously sacked by the boss of ITV, Carolyn McCall, simply because he wouldn't go on air and back up those tissue of lies that Meghan and Harry had decided to share with the world. Big problems, as one can imagine. And then, of course, you know, he found himself not just chucked out, but then his co-host, Susanna Reid, managed to get herself promoted, yes, to be executive editor, plus £1 million a year plus deal, 1 million a year. So how's it shaping up, of course, since they decided to get rid of that much-loved presenter? And when I say that, what's interesting about it is, let's not forget, on the day that they fired him, the show had finally beaten its main rival with 1.5 million viewers, which was a big achievement. So, you know, they figured that by backing Meghan, this was the right thing to do. Now, fast forward, as I say, a couple of years, and we're faced with this headline. The lead presenter on £1 million a year, Susanna Reid, is desperately trying to get people to watch. So they've come up with this story. Apparently, she had a bit of a panic attack because she'd been sipping up to 8 coffees a morning to get through the show. I've normally got through 8 and I've only been watching 5 minutes, but you get the picture. On a more serious note, this is desperate PR at its worst, let me tell you. ITV are really struggling. Virtually no one is watching the show. Ad revenue is down. And basically, it used to have the tagline, the most talked about show in Great Britain. It certainly isn't now. A lot of people, of course, particularly the weatherman who also instigated that particular fight, do look towards that debacle with Meghan Markle because they still believe that, you know, it's the wrong thing to do to get rid of the said presenter. In fact, Susanna Reid has never ever really referenced her co-star ever before. And I met him a couple of days after he was unanimously sacked, as I say, heartbroken, left bereft, and could not believe that all of the staff and team had turned on him so badly. Yet he still refused to apologise. So who's right and who's wrong? Susanna Reid now backpedaling, trying to get anybody to watch, all in the name of wokeness, by simply agreeing with Meghan's narrative. Or in fact, was the presenter right to stick it out? The bigger problem now is job losses loom, ad revenue down, and more importantly, you could fit the viewers in a red telephone box. How wrong were they? Once again, as many people suggest, the curse of Meghan Markle strikes again. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.